Welcome to my new channel and the first video in my series where I will share my story of surviving many types of abuse and how I overcame extreme trauma caused by that abuse. My main goal of this channel is to connect with those of you who are suffering from trauma caused by child sexual abuse, domestic violence, sexual assault, or the sex industry. I want to help guide you from being stuck on that hamster wheel of constant feelings of shame and hopelessness, and to help you discover how to use your trauma as the power to help you reach your goals and to achieve the beautiful life that you deserve. But first of all, give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe, share, and comment below. I would love to hear from you. And if you're a woman suffering from trauma caused by child sexual abuse, find the link below in the description and come check out our new free community, the Sisterhood of CSA Survivors. We are a group of women who are survivors of child sexual abuse. It is a safe, private community where you can come share your story, get support, make friends, and just have fun. We have weekly live events where we get together and hang out. We have online courses, a lively chat room, and soon we will have weekly live art classes. Lots of ways to come in and have fun and to connect with those that are like you. So check that out below. So the topic of this video today is going to be about how my abuse story began. My abuse story began before birth. I was conceived by rape. When my mother was 16 years old, she was lured to a party by a guy that she knew a little bit, but she had no idea what was going to happen at that party. When she went to that party and met him, she was lured away and violently raped by my father and held down by my uncle. Back in the early 60s, when you get pregnant, you're pretty much made to have the baby. You know, it's expected of you to have the baby. It's expected of you to marry the father. When my mother was 16 years old, she had never had sex before, and she had just been raped and found out she was pregnant. And I can imagine the fear she had, and that, you know, she didn't know what to do or where to go, and she had parents that would have not understood. So I don't know exactly how she handled that, but she ended up marrying my father. She married her rapist. And a few months later, I was born. And she went on to have two more children, my younger sister and my younger brother. I won't go through the whole life at this point, but I didn't find out that I was a product of rape until I was in my 40s. My mother kept it a secret pretty much her whole adult life. As far as I know, and as far as we all know, she didn't say anything to anyone about that until she didn't tell me. But I found out about it through my sister. I guess my mother found she couldn't hold it in anymore. She had this secret and she needed to tell someone. And we were all adults at this point, and my sister was, I guess, in her late 30s. And she broke down one day and she told my sister and my brother what happened. She told them about the rape and that I came out of it. But she made them promise not to tell me. She made them swear not to tell me about it. I assume it's because she was embarrassed. She probably was afraid of how I would react, that I would be angry with my father, you know, and oust him from my life. And At that point, she was still married with him. And I don't know about that, but I just can imagine the pain she suffered through her whole life of having this secret and seeing me all the time and growing up in my life and having my child and going through what I went through later on in life. And so, okay, so after I learned from my sister, I was kind of in shock and kind of in I wouldn't say denial, but it was like I just couldn't understand how that could be. It was just like you never think of that. You just think of, you know, I thought they were dating and they, were dating and this they fell in love and they had a child, that's the thing you think. But when you throw that into it, a violent rape, and I always come back to the thought of that my uncle held her down, and my uncle, who I knew my whole life, to think that he was part of that. And there's this big family secret. I didn't say anything to my mother that I knew because I guess, she didn't want me to know for some reason. So I kind of kept it a secret then that I knew until she was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and she was dying. Um, she was in the hospital and I was living in Hawaii and she was in Arizona, so I didn't get to see her at that point. I actually saw her before that, but that's another whole story. Maybe I'll go into that another time, but it's an amazing cancer survivor story. But she didn't survive later. Um, so she was in the hospital and we knew she was going to probably not live for another week or so. And I was calling her on the phone and I told my sister I'm going to call her and I'm going to ask her about the rape because I felt it's something I need to know. I need to confirm from her and I need to let her know that I know because she might be hurting inside knowing she's going to die without telling me, thinking that I don't know. There's so many other secrets in our family. Our family was a whole slew of secrets. I will go into that in other videos, but right now, so I told my sister I'm going to give her a call and I'm going to record this phone call because I wanted to not only just keep it, but kind of have it as to show like this is, she admitted it or she didn't admit it or whatever she says. And so I recorded that phone call. And every time I listen to it now, it just breaks, everything about her just breaks me up. So I found a point in our conversation quite a long way into it where I finally got up the nerve and I told her, Mom, I want to ask you something. It's something really serious. And I told her that I know that I didn't say I know. I said, did Dad rape you? Were you raped by Dad? And she got real quiet for a while, and I could hear her kind of sniffing, like she was crying, and she was trying to figure out what to say to me. And she said, yes. She said, yes, he raped me, but she came up with the but, and she tried to put some of the blame on herself. This is something that, as a rape survivor as well, this is something that is so hurtful for rape survivors that they always have to find some way to blame themselves. Some of it comes from inside where you think that maybe you must have did something wrong. You must have wore your skirt too short, or maybe your shirt too low, or maybe you're just too pretty, which that was the case of my mother. She was just too pretty. But why do you feel like you have to take the blame for being an innocent 16-year-old woman, or any woman of any age? You should not take the blame. But we either take the blame inside of ourselves or you have other people that blame you, or you feel shame from others, or you have others when you tell them about your rape story and they say, well, why were you there? Or why did you follow him? Or why did you go in the car with him? Or why did you kiss him? Or why did you trust him? Why would you blame yourself? So my mother and I had a little bit of a talk, and I didn't want to push it too much with her, but she was trying to take the blame, trying to tell me not to be mad at him. And I said, well, it's like 50 years later. I mean, what can I do now, you know? But anyway, so I'm going to kind of end it there. We'll go into it later, but I would love to hear in the comments below if any of you are, if you know, if you are conceived by rape, or if you think you might be, or if you know someone who is. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your story and hear how you found out. The problem is the statistics on this are not quite clear because so many of us never find out. We're not told. Maybe that they don't even know. I mean, there's so many things involved. And those that I did find out about that are also conceived by rape, many of them was their mother just, didn't connect with the rapist and went on and ended up having the baby on her own. Some were given up for adoption because the mother just couldn't handle having a child in her life that was reminding her of this violent event. Many different stories of, and of course, there's nowadays abortions are a lot more easy, so many babies that were conceived by rape are aborted. So there's so many stories. Anyway, I'm making this video too long, but I want to hear your story. I want to hear your comments on this. Even if you're not conceived by rape, what do you think about this? How do you feel about someone who's been raped and who has the child? And when the child grows up, do you feel it's best to just tell them? Would you feel it's better to try to keep it a secret to save them from hurt and anger? What do you feel about that? Anyway, thank you for watching this video for so long. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your comments. Please subscribe to this video. It's a brand new channel, so every subscription helps to support and helps me reach more people. And I will be posting more videos more often. I hope that I can post at least one a week. I'm going to have a follow-up to this video with ways to help through this type of trauma, because this is a special type of trauma that we feel finding out that we're conceived by rape. It's a trauma that is really intricate, and it's kind of tricky to get over, but I think I have, and I want to share with you, and I want to help you. So please share in the comments and let's connect. Watch for my next video, and again, subscribe, share, and comment, and join me on this journey. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.